Living on a lighted stage approaches the unreal for those who think and feel. Rush fans will instantly recognize the lyrics of Neil Peart. For fans of Limelight Group in Halifax, maybe this is lost to history. We welcome Kim King joining us all the way from her deluxe apartment in the sky, thanks to Zoom technology. We
Yes,
don't know, lost to history, whether or not Neil Peart was referencing Limelight, but in many respects, Kim, what you do, bringing entertainers and audiences together, does kind of approach the unreal.
absolutely. Absolutely. Those are some good lyrics, never to be forgotten.
Well, whenever I see your website or see anything from Limelight, it's like that soundtrack just is inescapable. So the
Yeah.
meetings and events industry, which you've been a
Mm.
part of for a long, long time, and just full disclosure for anyone watching, Kim and I are old friends and we've been doing business for quite a while. But Kim, let's go back. March, second week of March. I remember I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're on the phone. Uh, it's been such almost a whirlwind since then. How have you and your people, your clients, the people you partner with, how have you been able to recover from the initial shock and then find new ways to move forward? Because I think people are going to be really interested in this story.
Right. Well, I mean, initial shock is a very good way to describe it. We all went through it. Gare, had you called me in those early 4 weeks to kind of even talk or do anything like this, it was tough. It was a huge impact. Never before that your world, your life, your business, your everything gets impacted at once. But as I do like to say, every week in COVID land time is kind of like 3 months. So, we're into it. We're getting more used to it. We're flattening the curve. There's lots of good things happening. As it relates to the meetings and events industry, denial, that was a big one. We're all about in-person events. We're hardwired for that. That's what we're all about. And how can we possibly see a way forward? Flash forward 6, maybe almost 8 weeks now, and we're moving forward. And as much as all of us will dearly love the opportunity to get back to in-person meetings, we're finding a way through in the virtual world, and there's lots of benefits. There's lots of good stuff there.
And that's what I want to get into because it's quite a shift. And I know from working with you personally, Kim, there's a certain artistic flair that you and everyone on the Limelight team uses to put together a live event, carefully selecting the exact speaker, whether I shamelessly name drop Tyler Hayden or my speaking brother from another mother, Martin Latulippe. But you know where I'm going with this is that
Yeah.
I love what you just said about how 1 week of COVID is like 3 months of real time. I
Yeah.
saw something on YouTube the other day about how you're talking about virtually anything. And it's a
Mm.
concept that I think all kinds of people who still need to have meetings are going to
Right.
want to know about what you're thinking
Yeah.
and what you're planning.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Everybody's rushing, I feel, to try and get online, to get virtual, to do it, and that's great. We still need messaging. Audience need information. They need motivation. They need it in their living rooms. They need it for so many more reasons, and we need to deliver that. But people often go to platform first. How do we do this? How do we? Oh, I almost used the word pivot. I promised myself I wasn't going to say pivot or unprecedented in this interview.
You mean in these
Um,
extraordinary historic times?
Yeah, that's a good one. There's not really another good word for pivot. I literally looked it up in in a online thesaurus to say what else is there, but it does work. But people want to kind of get there. But what I say to my clients right now is before we talk about anything, let's explore what's the purpose of your meeting, what was the original reason. Let's go back to that, and let's make sure no matter how we execute it, that is still intact and we still meet that. Because initially there was a lot of people saying, well, we're just going to postpone to next year. And it's like, really? So like your people can wait till next year to have this message? In some cases, yes, they had to do it. But we're really working with clients to say, We may not deliver the product in the exact same way. We're going to take it virtual. So we maybe need to pull out a couple of keynotes, and we need to, I kind of liken it, Gare, to creating more like TV, you know? So maybe you have a TV show and there's episodes, and you want to get your audiences tuning into those episodes with curated collections of speakers, and you can do it all kinds of different ways. But we just really want clients to stop and think about, what are we trying to accomplish? We'll figure out the platform, we'll figure out the technology and the logistics, but let's go back to, what do your people need to hear?
I love what you just said, because what I'm really hearing, and I think for organizations everywhere, it's put purpose over platform. Figure out
Hmm.
the message.
Good way of saying it.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great way of, it's a great way of saying it. And because a lot of people are just terrified by the platform in general. And let's flip, that's the client side. Let's talk about speakers and what they're experiencing. Again, you've seen that rush of, got to get a new package video out that I speak virtual, have to do this, have to do that. And it's like, and you think that you had to do it in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, like somebody's getting ahead of you. You know, this type of technology, this way of delivering content to audiences, it's not going away. So um, we people need to calm down, need to calm down a little bit. And I would say to speakers, don't forget who you are. Don't forget your brand. Don't forget what you're really good at. And I'm not going to diminish the skill and ability to deliver keynotes and messages in a virtual setting, but I'm also going to say, if you're a professional and you're interested in your career, you're going to figure it out. And so for meeting planners and people that are hiring speakers, of course you want to have those conversations. But I think, we're all going to get there, and we're going to do it in a way that it'll be baby steps. And when clients talk about the fear of technology, I remind them, like, in-person events, sometimes mics failed, sometimes agendas got a little bit behind schedule. They were never perfect either, and it doesn't mean that we don't want to attempt a very high standard, but let's just not be too hard on ourselves. Like, we're going to get through this. And there is a huge opportunity for a new kind of meeting professional, which is more of a production person that spans between the client and the speaker to kind of make everything mesh. And that could come in a number of different forms.
Well, that's interesting to hear. And I think also for anyone watching this, because the whole purpose of these conversations, Kim, as you well know, is how does any small business, small to medium sized business, move forward in these extraordinary,
Mm.
exceptional times? How do they shift, pivot, whatever verbiage we want to use? But how has this impacted you personally? Because I'm curious to know, for anyone watching, what you can share, your perspectives of the
Yeah.
quick adaptation to things like virtual and video. Can you
Yeah.
share kind of like your personal experiences with that?
Well, I'm going to say, as it relates to adapting to video, and again, Gare, I'm going to give you some big kudos on this, because you've been talking to me about, embracing video for many, many, many years now. It could possibly even be 5 years. And so, thank goodness I had that sort of thoughts in my background, because when we start doing this, for a long time, I've wanted to do all my speaker conference calls and client calls by video. It's a much more enhanced, close up and personal way to connect. And so now we do that. I do video proposals. So when I'm recommending now speakers for online, I will jump behind my camera and I'll shoot a nice personal message to let clients know what I'm thinking of and who these speakers are. So it's, you got to get out of your comfort zone. I think that's a big part of it. And you have to be a sponge. And we've all spent all kinds of times on webinars for all different types of reasons, but you got to soak it up. You got to soak it up and you got to learn. And one big thing that I would say, when you are really stressed, and I don't know the brain mechanics of it, and I'm sure somebody out there could explain it, But I think when you're really stressed, when you get your brain very focused on learning new things and doing new things, it kind of takes you out of that negative space and is really helpful.
Yeah, my friend Jim Gilbert says there's no time like now to be learning new technologies, to be adapting faster. Just before we wrap up, Kim, these are unedited, unscripted conversations, and I'm trying to include anyone who's watching, whether they be selling socks or sushi. It wouldn't
Yeah.
matter what it is, but what, in your view, when you look into your crystal ball, cloudy and murky as it may be right now, because no one really knows what the other side looks like, what is, in your view, the better, bigger question that business leaders need to be asking?
Well, I mean, there's going to be so many changes, Gare. I mean, the way in which we work is going to be hugely impacted, and what people need. And so much of what I do does focus around the workplace and corporate and associations. So I think it's just trying to fill the need of what people are going to be looking for. And I think it's going to be some different things. And I think that the more human side of a person showing up at work. I mean, how can we ever go back to being able to see everyone's living room, everyone's children, everyone's pets, people possibly without pants, like all the craziness? We can't unsee that. And so I think for leaders moving forward, humanity, the human that shows up at work, they have to have a lot more consideration. And I think that is going to build a better workplace, a better family life, and a better world.
I think that's so well said. In fact, that could be a TED Talk. Hey, wait a second. You do TED Talks every day. Is he there?
Well, let me just wheel him up.
Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
you're not going to be able to see him.
So the story, can you introduce him to everyone?
Here he is. This is Ted.
What's the story of Ted? Because I jokingly said before, well, this is like your own TED Talk every
I
day.
know. He is quite a little, he's a curious character. And so as I'm sure most people do, their pets have shown up in all kinds of things. So look at his ears right now. He's not happy about this. Here we go, bud. Okay, I put you down. But yes, he's definitely, there's got to be a TED Talk in the making somewhere, and we'll make sure that we get him on camera with that.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for joining us. Kim King,
Thanks,
the
Gare.
Limelight Group in Halifax. Neil Peart from Rush. I think the lyrics went something like, all the world's a stage. We are all each other's performers and portrayers. I might be mangling the lyrics a little bit.
I
I
know.
think Peart was channeling his inner Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But I think, Kim, you've delivered a great message in terms of how things are going to change, that humanity, because of these barriers, the posturing and the professionalism and some of the pretentiousness has certainly
Yeah.
destroyed by COVID, which I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
So on that note, thanks again.
Gotten pretty real.
Yeah, pretty as real as it gets,
Yeah.
all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Thanks, Gare.
Thank you. And again, hopefully this conversation will be just another one that helps you find ways to lead better together and emerge stronger in these historic times.
Awesome. Take care.